Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Monday, the 19th of August. And there has been some movements, especially in the FX market, but we will start having a look at Nikkei again because, well, it did rebound a little bit more than expected above the resistance here at 37,380. But the key thing was that RSI is still in a negative sentiment, only jumped back to around 50 value and actually haven't even closed above the 60 threshold, not even getting close to it. So with the sell-off this morning, or sell-off, but the setback this morning back below 30,390, well, a couple of days or a little bit of more sell-off, then we'll see RSI back below 40, and if we see that, well, then we are resuming bearish trends, and we should keep an eye on that. If it takes out the peak from this morning or Friday, well, then expect the 40,000 to be tested, but we'll get to that when we look at the yen pairs. On the S&P 500, oh, it didn't update there. There we got it. Sorry about that. 5,566, just below here Friday. We are above the clouds, so we should be in a bullish trend in terms of that. But I see here RSI just touching the 60 threshold just below. You can see 59.15. If it can't close above, and if we get a negative day, well, then expect it to slide back over the next couple of days. If we are sliding back below this falling trend line here, then the selling pressure could resume in a larger scale. So the next couple of days could be fairly decisive. Nasdaq 100, more or less the same picture, really. It has rebounded a little bit more than 61.8 retracement just below the 19,539 resistance here. Also RSI, you can see 60 threshold just being rejected. So next couple of days could be decisive. Looking at the CFD/future, we have right there. So we can see it's being tested at the moment. So it's really a key level. And if you're looking at the mini future, well, same picture. So keep an eye on this level here, 19,717. This is the mini future. That is the key resistance to look out for here the next couple of days. No question about that. EUROSTOXX 50 stalling a little bit this morning, but it had a very strong uptrend, close above 48.12, which was a bit of a pivot point. But as you can see here, also RSI is still below 60, and that is the trigger. That will be the trigger. It needs to close back above 60 for really confirming that we are going back into a bullish trend on EUROSTOXX 50. If we are sliding back below 4,800, we could see further selling pressure down to 47 and lower. DAX index. We have the DAX index. Oh, I didn't hit that. Sorry. Here we are. Just below the cloud area here, as you can see, retraced 786 of the sell-off there. Actually, a bit more. So I'll remove that. It's a bit obsolete now. I just use it just as a guideline, really. It's not the strongest ones anyway. Anyway, we're just below the cloud, RSI being rejected at 60, so that will be key here next couple of days. Can we actually close above 60 threshold low? Well, after it closed, actually a gap there, so that was a really strong signal. But if it starts sliding lower into that gap area again, that could be a little bit of a negative sign, and the first sign could be that if closing below this little gap area, 18,883, well, then there could be some selling pressure coming in. Interesting development on the AEX Amsterdam index. It closed. I mean, it spiked up to 786 retracement, but it closed below the upper part or the upper bound of the gap. So that is a bit of a worry if you're a bull. It really needs, it should have closed above 907, 908 for continued bullish sentiment or the trend. The sentiment is still negative, so if we slide back below 894-ish level here, then I think we will see a much more the selling pressure really returning with strong force. CAC 40. 7,465.66 in this region here. You can see we have the the CAC 40 index testing it, or just a few cents below. That will be key here. Next, can it actually close above or not? And also here we have the RSI, can it close above 60 or not? That's something you should keep an eye on here also today. The Swiss market really strong, bounce back to the all-time highs area. We're not doing an all-time high, but in that area. But the RSI also here needs to close above 60 threshold, but Swiss market actually looks the strongest of them all at the moment. So keep an eye on that. If it starts sliding lower, then we have support here just around 12,000. Moving on to the FX market as usual, and let's start with euro dollar also as usual. And if you have read my article I did on euro dollar here last week, it's really still very much in play. You can see it's forming this triangle-like pattern that it is broken out of, and it has confirmed RSI above 60 on the weekly chart. This is the weekly chart. You see this triangle here, symmetrical triangle. There will be a little bit of resistance at the 200 moving average. You can see around those levels there were some, but I don't think it will hold it back to move to 111.40 here in on the short term. You can see it was a strong move Friday, continuing this morning here. But I think, have a look at the article I did last week, a very in-deep analysis of it, and we are on our way to 111.40 levels on the euro dollar. On the euro sterling, can't really make its mind up, and now it's setting back, and I think we could set back to test the 85 level, possibly all the way down to the 61.8 retracement at 84.75, because what is actually happening at the moment is cable sterling dollar pushing higher, currently trading around the 786 retracement at 129.63. I think it will continue higher, also given that the RSI is now back above 60 threshold, so it's pointing to higher levels. And if we're also very quickly looking at the daily, you can see where it's probably heading. I think you can see we are in this rising trend here, but it's also forming a kind of a rising wedge, but it's not confirmed yet. But it seems like, but there should be room up to 131.50 resistance area. And now we get to yen. Yen pairs got hammered this morning, and as you can see, dollar yen rejected at the 149.42 level, the 38.2 retracement. We are back below the falling trend line here. Sell off again today. We're about 1.1% down currently. You can see RSI back below 40 and also back below its rising trend line. I think we will see dollar yen here going into this week. Could be sliding lower and lower towards the previous lows here in the region around 142 area. Will we get a new low? I'm not so sure, but I think we'll get a new lower close at least. Here it was that's the lowest one. So in this area here, I think we'll see over the next few days. If it does take out the 149.42, well, then it will continue higher and resume uptrend. But I don't think that will materialize. The technical picture is fairly strong. Here 164 and the 200 moving average on the euro yen was key, testing a minor support here 160.58, and we can see RSI below 40 threshold. If it does close below 40 threshold, well, then it will also resume downtrend towards 157.5 in this area here in a few days, I believe. Thing is with timing, it's not all. I mean, it doesn't move as fast sometimes, and sometimes moves faster, so it's hard to predict. But we also have Aussie yen that actually got above 97.83 minor support, but didn't get all the way up to 99.90, and now it's turning sour again. And if it does break below 96.75, well, then we will see. I'm fairly confident we will see a sell-off down to around 93.5 level, and the RSI is in negative sentiment, about to break back below 40. Same picture on sterling yen, obviously. If it takes out 187.86 minor support, well, then we are looking at 182.5. I'll remove this one. We will look at in these levels around 182.5, possibly lower. Also, dollar pushed higher It broke this little consolidation area here, very close to the 786 retracement at 67 and a change. I think we will break higher. You can see RSI currently above 60. Did it close above Friday? No, it didn't. So currently above 60. So if it does close above 60 today, well, then expect higher levels on Aussie dollar. If not, then it could slide back a little bit. We have dollar Canada currently trading around the 786 retracement at 136.65. Testing at the moment. RSI about to break barriers. Let's see if that will actually materialize or if we will bounce back. If it bounces back and takes out 137.5, then I think we'll see uptrend resuming. I'll remove this one now. And on the Swiss, rejected just below the 200 moving average and the 96 level, and I think it will resume downtrend here fairly shortly. What we can do, we could also have done that with the yen pairs, but there was so much to talk about anyway. So first move should be 38.2 retracement at 94.45, but I think we could see it lower below 94 in this area around 93.55. Dollar Swiss also rejected here at 83.30, resuming downtrend. RSI negative sentiment. I think we'll see lower levels on dollar Swiss. What we have seen lower levels on is the dollar index. Next to support 101.62, but it could drop even lower. If we are looking at the weekly chart, you can see there's not much stopping it until this region here just above 100. Of course, there is 100 and 162 and 100 spot 32. So let's see here next. But if your dollar is going to 111.40, well, then we will also see the dollar index going lower, and also with the moves in the other dollar pairs. Gold, new all-time high, and I think it will continue. You can see it really broke out of the peak here and resistance at 24.84 late Friday, pushing higher, and I expect it to hit 25.20, possibly 25.5. I think we will get up in this region here fairly soon. And looking at the weekly chart, we can see it's really pushing higher, so not really much stopping it. There's a little bit divergence on the RSI, but for now, trust the trend, higher highs, and we are in a bullish trend. Silver, 29.45 resistance likely to be tested. The RSI has broken above its falling trend, but it is still not hasn't broken above 60 threshold. We'd like to see that, but if we do get above 29.45, we'll probably also get RSI above 60 threshold. That will mean we will have a higher levels on silver in the horizon. If it gets rejected, expect it to take back to at least around 28, but it seems like it's slowly starting to build an uptrend. On copper, also in a correction mode, rebound mode, 40.22 around that. You see 422.35, and we have the 38.2 at 421.80 level. Well, fairly strong resistance. We also have the falling trend line here coming down, giving a little bit of resistance, and we need to have the RSI back above 60 threshold for any meaningful uptrend. But if we get that in combination with a close above 422.35, then I think we'll see a push up to 440, which will be the next level. It could short term be sent back a little bit from the trend line and the strong resistance. On the energy side, on oil, you can see now it's being sent back again, and as we talked about, and I will talk about it for quite some time, we are forming this triangle-like pattern. Let's see when it will break out. Then you will probably have a bigger move. So either to the downside, below 71.5, or to the upside, that will actually take 84.45. But breaking these trend lines here will be first clue for the direction that oil is going to take. Same picture on Brent. Finally, the US 10-year Treasury is, let's zoom in a little bit, right there. So 379, is key support here the next couple of days. I believe we could be testing it again, especially if we start to see some selling in equities. We could see a test of this 379. If it does break below or close below, then expect lower levels. Then it will be fairly heavy on the US yields, and then the potential down to support here at 364 once again. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and happy trading.